Most unlimited hydroplane camps call Seattle home. They have an arsenal of resources here. And drivers would like nothing more than a hometown win. Even time is on their side. Because after back-to-back races in the state of Washington, there are weeks to rebuild before the next event. Another good reason these boats will be running all out in competition. And a little Seattle rain isn't going to stop these racers. These boats are supposed to get wet. The 1995 Hooters Unlimited Hydroplane Series, chasing the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's High Points Championship from the Texaco Cup in a very cold and rainy Seattle, Washington. It's raining in Seattle. That's the bad news. The good news is unlimited hydroplane racing is unaffected by this kind of rain. It's probably the only motorsport that isn't affected by a wet track. We want one. The fans in this city have watched this race for years on end. They don't care about weather. They don't care about anything else. Seafair is what they're interested in, and the unlimited hydroplanes. As a matter of fact, a gentleman who started watching it, Steve Woomer, when?
When I was about 13 years old, I snuck over the hill here from Rainier Valley and stuck my nose up against that cyclone fence and figured the only way to get on the other side of it was to buy one of these things.
So you bought one. The Smokin' Joe's is what you're running out here today, a boat that's had a great season. You're on top coming into this race. However, you know in the back of your mind you've never been in the victory circle here.
Well, we've always had a little bad luck here in Seattle, and you know, there's nothing the Smokin' Joe's team would like better than winning here, and you know, winning here would bring a tear to the old man's eye.
Well, we'll see if we can get that tear to your eye, but I tell you what, just down the track is a group that says they're not going to let that tear come to his eyes. They want one of their own. Steve Montgomery standing by with them.
That's right, Dick. One of the biggest obstacles between Steve Woomer and that first Seattle victory is Chip Hanauer, class of '72, Newport High School, just a few minutes from here. If you had seen the media here in Seattle after the first day of qualifying, you'd have thought the Budweiser guys might as well pack up their big red trucks and go back to their shop in Tukwila. Again, just a few minutes from here. But that was the first day of qualifying. On the second day, it was Hanauer in the red boat, 162.4 miles per hour, a new course record, and everybody said, well, I guess the Budweiser guys are back. Now, the question is, who will be the favorite when they go racing? Will it be Chip Hanauer and Miss Budweiser, or Mark Tate and the Smokin' Joes? Last year, the winner here was neither one. It was another hometown boy, Dave Villwock. Jim Hendrick is in that camp.
Well, Steve, it was the Pico's American Dream driven by Dave Villwock last year when they thrilled the hometown fans with a victory on this 2-mile course. They went on to win at San Diego for their second win of 1994. Dave Villwock perhaps has the inside track as to the style of Chip Hanauer. He was his crew chief on the Circus teams when they've won here in the past, and also were together for world championships. In the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's High Point standings coming into this race, race number 8 on the year, it's Smokin' Joe's at the top over Miss Budweiser by 514 points.
And the rain, it is not going to stop the Seattle die-hard hydroplane fans. They've been following this race course for years, and they are ready to root for their favorite boats. You can see the mist over downtown Seattle. Is this rain going to affect these boats?
Well, Dick, this is definitely the coolest, wettest weather we've encountered here in the '95 season. Everybody asks us, how would rain affect a turbine engine? Danny High is the crew chief of the Pizza Time Exide batteries. You can answer that question for us.
Well, the water won't affect us too much, the rain, I mean. If we ingested quite a bit of water, put the fire out in the turbine, but a little rain won't hurt it. What we do keep an eye on is the wind and the water conditions, and if it gets rough, we'll loosen the boat up to fly over it.
Nate Brown, you've certainly driven in rain before. No problem for you.
No, rain's not a real big deal. The biggest hassle for rain is you get wet on your way out to the boat. But we have a guy that's whole job is to just put a treatment on the canopy. As Adam Bradfold does a great job, so I never have any problem with the rain on the canopy.
The unlimited hydroplane race for the Texaco Cup is sponsored by O'Doul's, what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And by Eagle Snacks. It's what you feed your face. And here's some rain in your face as the boats get ready for Heat 1A. We'll be back in a moment. Back to Lake Washington outside of Seattle, Washington. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we look at the boats warming up for Heat 1A. It is wet on the course, underneath the boats, and on top.
In lane 1, it'll be Chip Hanauer and Miss Budweiser. Lane 2, it'll be the Pizza Time XI with Nate Brown at the wheel. Lane number 3, it'll be Miss Rock, driven by Mark Evans. His brother Mitch will be right next to him in the Mill Bay Casino, the U3 in lane 4. In lane 5, Ken Muscatel and Computers and Applications. Outside of him, it'll be the Cascade Homes, driven by the owner for this heat, Mike Jones. He'll be the start boat on the outside, and trailing is going to be the Appian Renegade with Tom Hindley. As they come down, Tom Hindley does not make the starting field. We're down to a 6-boat fleet.
And as the green flag flies to start the race, it is going to be Miss Budweiser in lane number 1, who's going to take the lead going down in the first corner of this course. Miss Budweiser with Chip Hanauer last week had a very rough time of it, did not take a win all day long. He wants to start it out right if he possibly can. At this point, he is your leader.
Dick, as they come down the back chute here on Lake Washington, look at all the boats that are tied to a log boom. They're moored right there. They pay for that privilege, and it's a great place to watch a race.
And rain or no rain, they're going to be out there partying and having a good time and cheering for their favorite boat. And those that are cheering for the Miss Budweiser right now have good reason to. Pizza Time X-Side is trying to catch up. That's Nate Brown, who returned to the circuit last week in Pasco, Washington. Look how light the Miss Budweiser is. Now you can look back at second place, then again up to first. Miss Budweiser gets a good run down the straight, but at rough points on the course, she literally launches off and stays flat parallel to the water to settle back down in.
If they didn't have these canopies, they wouldn't be running here. In the olden days, without the canopies, if a driver ran in a rain like this at over 150 to 160 mile an hour on the straightaway, those raindrops would be like BBs in the face. But those canopies now, with the Rain-X and everything else, dissipate the water. They can see, they can run.
Right now, the leader is the Miss Budweiser as you look at Chip Hanauer negotiate another turn and gets a little bit loose down there, but you notice he's not backing off it at all. Second place is the Pizza Time X-Side boat. Third is Mark Evans. Mark is having a good ride in the KISW Miss Rock, but the best ride of the day so far is going to go to Chip Hanauer and the Miss Budweiser.
Our Zodiac lap speed for Miss Budweiser is at 145 mile an hour.
Boy, a rough ride for Ken Muscatel in the Computers and Application boat. He is really bouncing around out there. This is probably the heaviest boat in the fleet. It is the piston-powered boat owned by Ed Cooper and Ed Cooper Jr. Mitch Evans riding in 5th place in that boat. And there you can see the stretch of the field looking down through a rainy sky here in Seattle.
Another hometown boy brings his boat to Miss Budweiser around corner number 4. The checkered flag is waiting for Chip Hanauer.
And, of course, Chip, being from the Seattle area, has got to be very happy with the win in his hometown. But the guy in second place probably isn't too disappointed either. There you see Pizza Time X-Side, second place to Nate Brown, who had second places last week and is continuing the momentum.
And here's the Fruit of the Loom scoreboard after Heat 1A, showing the Miss Budweiser, Pizza Time, Nautilus X-Side Battery, Miss Rock, Computer Applications, Mill Bay Casino, Cascade Homes in that order.
And the rookie driver, Tom Hindley, who had a good week last week, is having a tow back into the pit area.
Chip, welcome home racing in the rain. How's the boat ride?
It needs some improvement, so we'll keep working. Hopefully we'll have a better boat in the final.
Bernie, Roger Penske would have gone to his rain tires by now.
Yeah, he would have, but we don't have them here. But anyhow, we're in Seattle, so we love it.
A win in the pocket for the Budweiser crew. Still looking for a win, the Smokin' Joe's crew. Mark Tate and crew chief Jim Lucero. As we get ready, we'll be back in a moment. The Texaco Cup from Seattle, Washington. A little bit of rain, but it doesn't stop the air show planned for Seafair. This is a huge event, as we tell you each year. Everybody looks forward to Seafair in Seattle. These stunt pilots have a little something in common with the driver of a boat. The boat being Pico's American Dream. As you'll find out in this close-up look at defending champ of this event, Dave Villwock.
I'd been in model airplanes for a long, long time and enjoyed modeling and flying remote control model airplanes when they were brand new, when they were a new event that no one had done. Normally, most of the models had control lines, and they were by wire. And then they started doing them by radio control, and so that interested me a lot, and I started into it. And probably it's one of the things that got me involved with Circus Circus. With Bill Bennett's a big modeler, and so I went down to Vegas and after the Circus Circus operation in '90 and got heavily into modeling and ended up getting 5th in the Nats in advanced aerobatics. So, you know, I learned a lot, and it was fun. Another, you know, competitive sport, a bunch of really competitive guys, you know, doing a precision event, which that was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that as much as I do racing.
Flying radio-controlled planes requires concentration. Dave finds it's an escape of sorts, focusing solely on flight maneuvers and putting the rest of life's demands in a holding pattern. But when the season's over and the weather turns cold, the pace doesn't slow down.
Keep myself busy, you know, snow skiing. Right as soon as we get back from Hawaii, I'm checking the snow levels to see how the mountains are stacking up with the white stuff. And luckily last year by November we had a lot of it here, and we were doing some deep powder skiing in the high Cascades by November, and that keeps me busy for a lot of the time. And then, you know, and then through the winter I go back into the old Dave that really enjoys the technical side of the sport, and I love building the equipment and parts and pieces and redeveloping new things that are going to go faster for the next year's racing season.
Dave is considered a propeller wizard by many. Got into Unlimiteds as a crew chief on the champion Circus Circus, but his racing career has come full circle.
Started racing boats, actually racing boats and driving my boats for my uncle, and then progressed up through different classes and was lucky enough to win a lot of championships and set a lot of national records and world records.
Villwock grew up in the Seattle area and makes it home, with his wife Pam, who's behind him, win, lose, or DNF.
Where Dave Villwock, the person's happiest, is in the cockpit of a boat, working on a boat. You know, being in the racing fraternity, that's really who and what I am.
Well, he is now on the course in the Pico's American Dream, as you can see right there, coming up on the outside of the camel-powered Smokin' Joe's. Here's your lineup: T-Plus engine treatment, Steve David, the owner Jim Harvey, Smokin' Joe's, Mark Tate in lane 2, Steve Woomer, the owner of that boat. In lane 3, Dave Villwock, the man you just met in Pico's American Dream, owned by Fred Leland. DeWalt Tools, Mike Hansen, the boat owned by the city of Madison, Indiana. Next to him in lane 5, the U50, KMPS presents Chaplin's Bellevue Volkswagen, Scott Pierce. And on the outside is the Miss Elam Plus, Ken Dryden in the U16. Boats coming down for the start of Heat 1B. As you can see right off the bat, there goes the green flag, and there goes Smokin' Joe's. Right off the bat, Smokin' Joe's is trying to take the lead away from Pico's American Dream. Pico's is challenging on the outside. That's Dave Villwock. On the inside, back in 3rd place, and in a bit of a battle with the boat far to the outside he can't even see because of the rooster tails, is the T-Plus Stephen David.
As we look at Mark Tate of the Smokin' Joe's, the last race he won 4 out of 4 heats, had a perfect day and took over the National High Point lead, and he's well on his way to his 5th consecutive heat victory with his first win here today.
And we might say that those victories last week were all over the Miss Budweiser. They matched out in every single race. This time, they are separated.
And Heat 1A here just a few minutes ago, it was the Miss Budweiser winning its first heat of the day. Smokin' Joe's is trying to, of course, keep pace, but he's not going to get away from the Pico American Dream, who's the defending champion of this particular event, because here comes Villwock to challenge.
And he is trying to chip away at that lead that Smokin' Joe's has. He's got to really control that boat. On the outside of the course, he's got a lot of pressure because he's trying to keep a higher speed. He's got about 3.5 to 4 boat lengths on the 2nd place boat, Dave Villwock. There you can see him coming out of the rooster tail there. A good ride for Mark Tate, and he is not backing off, even with a little margin of victory in his favor.
Here's Mike Hansen out of Madison, Indiana in DeWalt Tools. They are currently running 4th. As we look at our leader, Mark Tate, who on our Zodiac lap speed shows 143 miles an hour.
Look at that. We have seen a lane change. Pico American Dream has now gone on the inside to try to get a shorter course to run against the Smokin' Joe's. 143 is pretty decent speed in these conditions for the Smokin' Joe's team.
And they're running with Smokin' Joe's first, Pico's American Dream second. The T-Plus engine treatment currently is 3rd.
Rough conditions on the course, and you can see the Smokin' Joe's gets a little bit roughed up on the turn, but settles down on the straightaway. These boats are actually riding on a pocket of air. Now, they said earlier they are not concerned about the light falling rain. What they are concerned about is the wind. And if the wind should all of a sudden pick up, you can see from one end to the other underneath the Smokin' Joe's as she comes out of the turn, it's the wind that would pick the boat up and fly it like a kite. They are literally tiptoeing back and forth on those sponsons. You can see from one end to the other, as we told you earlier. Look at that. See how she kind of lifts up in the front? Well, fortunately, she's coming home because the checkered flag is out for the Smokin' Joe's. Mark Tate is bringing home a winner for 400 points. That puts him even with the Miss Budweiser.
Yes, the Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows that the Smokin' Joe's, by a 400-point victory, maintains that 514-point lead over Bud.
Little fog for the T+, but none for our winner, Mark Tate, driving the Smokin' Joe's. Let's get words from him.
Mark, that's a good start to a day. The boss hasn't won in Seattle. Maybe he'll do it in the rain.
Well, yeah, this is unusual racing here in the rain, but first time in a long time we've had to do it. The water conditions are hard to read out there, but we got a heat wind with the camel-powered Smokin' Joe.
And I'm sure Ken Dryden is happy. The Miss Elam, as you see there, getting put back on the trailer. Her maiden voyage complete. You are looking at what is known as the international sign for don't shoot yourself in the foot. Why does Ken Muscatel have it on his boat? Because up in Tri-Cities just a week ago, the boat went over. It flew like a kite. Now, unlimited hydroplanes are considered big boats, but you want big boats? Let me show you a big boat. This one. Seattle is a large naval base. This is the aircraft carrier USS Kitty Hawk. This is just one of the bays on that boat. It was the site of a welcome party and a reception for Seafair and the Racing Brigade earlier in the week. It was held on the lower carrier deck. But then there was a sunset to be viewed. How do you do it? You just simply put the whole party on in one of the elevated platforms and bring them up on the main deck for a beautiful view of majestic Mount Rainier. And let's throw in an exhibition of paratrooping onto the flight deck. For a little bit of music, there's nothing like the Marine Band. And of course, the precision rifle team, always a thrill to watch. The drivers and all the folks from Seafair really enjoyed a wonderful evening and a dazzling sunset from the aircraft carrier USS Kitty Hawk.
Okay, Dick, we're ready to go with Heat 2A, and once again, it's no Budweiser versus Smokin' Joe's. They did not draw each other, and on the inversion, it's going to be Smokin' Joe's way on the outside. He'll have competition from Pico's American Dream, Pizza Time X-Side, Computers and Applications, Mill Bay Casino, T-Plus Engine Treatment, and Appian Renegade, and here they come.
And there's the green flag. We're off and running again on Lake Washington in Seattle, Washington, and there's Smokin' Joe's trying to get it from the outside. Now, we remind everybody that the inside boat has an advantage because it has to go less of a course. The outside boat goes a further distance, so therefore they've got to keep their speed up a little bit higher. They have the advantage in that the turn that the outside boat takes is a lot wider, so they are able to keep their speed up a little bit higher. There's Pizza Time X-Side. That boat now trying for a second place against the Smokin' Joe's. Look at Nate Brown come up and right on the outside of him. Oh my goodness, those boats are close. Pico's American Dream is right in between those two.
What a throw! Look out, we almost lost the Smokin' Joe's. He went up on his right side. Holy cow, and look at him right next to Pico's American Dream. This is going to be a fast lap.
Right now in the lead, it is Pizza Time X-Side, the white boat, as you can see, but the two fast boats are on the outside of him, and Pizza Time gets very loose. He waves to the crowd. That's got to be a very tough corner on all the boats. They all seem to get very light out there. Look at Pizza Time and T-Plus now battling it out for the lead. Steve David taking advantage of being on the inside, trying to get on the inside and hold Nate Brown. Nate Brown, meanwhile, has to watch his attitude. He's flying that hull, and he's starting to get to the point of no return.
They're letting it all hang out here on Lake Washington. It's a three-lapper preliminary. Once again, T-Plus is on the inside, but look at Nate Brown in his number 2 slot. Hold it off, and he does a 143-mile-an-hour lap, according to the Zodiac lap computer.
Nate Brown, who got back on the circuit on the Western Swing in Pasco, Washington a week ago, driving for Bill Worcester. And look at this boat this week. He had second place finishes across the board last week. Now he wants to try to change momentum, and he's in the lead. Pizza Time has the lead. Nate Brown, and following him is Pico's American Dream. T-Plus is still in the battle out there. This is a wild race from start to finish.
Boy, the boats are really erratic in this heat, and they're all out there to to try to pick up the points toward that winner-take-all final here later today. And the checker flag is waiting for this boat, Nate Brown, in the Pizza Time Exide Nautilus Battery.
Wow, is that crew happy on the dock? Pizza Time Exide takes a little flyby there, and look at this. T+, more problems for that boat, goes dead in the water. Second place will go to Pico's American Dream. Third place will go to Smokin' Joe's, followed by the Computers and Applications Epson Stylus Color, and the Mill Bay Casino presents the Spirit of Lake Chelan. T+ got back up and did make the finish.
And there is your final Fruit of the Loom scoreboard finish for Heat 2A. What a wild race Heat 2A was. And look at T+, washed down and wet inside as the rain continues to fall. Let's go down to the winner's dock.
Nate, you put those fast guys on the outside and you can stay ahead of them.
Well, yeah, I suppose they all realized that this wasn't the final heat, so once they realized it was a little rough out there and I was in front, they backed off too. But it was a good race, and Pizza Time and Exide, what can I say? We did an okay job, and we came in first that time, but there's lots more races to go, and hopefully we can be there in the final heat, the same place we finished this time.
Let's go to Jim Hendrickies with Ken Muscatel.
A rainy, wet day, Kenny, but a lot drier than last week when you're upside down.
Yeah, this was great. I mean, to get 2 consecutive fourth-place finishes, given the destruction that this boat suffered and the changes it went through, it's changed the setup completely. So we're kind of just back on the learning curve. We're real happy, and I'm happy to be representing Computer and Applications and Epson so well. And we're happy we're in one piece. I can't always say that after we run.
Looking out of the pit area at the bridge, the floating bridge, as a matter of fact, going over to Mercer Island. We'll be back to racing in a moment. In Seattle, Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we look at the boats getting ready for Heat 2B.
And just like the Smokin' Joe before him, the Budweiser has now drawn lane number 6. He's going to have to go from the far outside.
We look at the Miss Budweiser as she takes the lead right off the green flag. Going into the turn now, as you can see, the Miss Budweiser on the far outside has got the speed necessary to hold off the rest of the field, at least through that turn and onto the back straightaway.
Dick, we've had a collision in that busy first turn between Jerry Hopp and the Miss Cascade Holmes and Ken Dryden, the Miss Elam Plus. A flare has been shot off, and you can see now the Cascade Holmes, lots of smoke off the rear end of that turbine, and the boats are starting to slow down. Wait a minute, we're getting something from the URC radio. They're saying, disregard, disregard, go, go, go. This race has not been stopped.
The Miss Budweiser started to get off it, as did Mark Evans in the Miss Rock. Mark Evans had a little bit of trouble accelerating again and getting back up on there. Meanwhile, it looks like DeWalt Tools has moved up into second place. But, Jim, they did fire a red flare.
Well, the flare may have been fired prematurely, but if there is a flare fired by our rules, the heat is stopped now. Not later, now, but they're continuing to run. There's going to be some controversy on this one, I'm telling you.
Well, for one thing, we know Mark Evans was riding up in second place to the Miss Budweiser when the red flare went up and they stopped the race, but then the URC radio, which is the official communications between the race teams and the Unlimited Racing Commission, said go, go, go. Well, the Miss Budweiser accelerated without much problem. Mark Evans lost a position. DeWalt's Tools came up and took second, so the whole field is in a bit of disarray at this point, and I think they're going to have to go back in and sort this out.
One thing that's good, though, the drivers that collided are okay. They have a strobe light on these boats, and if they don't turn the strobe light on, then the rescue boats go right to them. But the strobe light flashing says, hey, we're okay, just continue to race, we're fine.
Chip Hanauer coming in with the checkered flag flying, so we're going to assume at this point, of course, he is the winner of the race. Second place will go to DeWalt Tools, and that is assuming everything stands as is. Mark Evans will take third place in the KISW Miss Rock. There you see Jerry Hopp. He's okay. He is out of his boat. This was one of the boats that was in the collision. Now, Chip Hanauer is going to come back in and find out just exactly what happened out on that course. He's already asking questions. He's not even out of the boat.
I wouldn't want to be the driver's rep on this one, Dick. And the driver's representative is the buffer between an irate driver, a protest, and the commission brass.
Who? Oh, it says a red flag.
They flared on this corner.
They put a flag.
They pulled it down.
They did. But they can't put a flag up.
I know, and take down. I agree, but they did.
Well, obviously, there's going to be a lot of discussion in the pits right now over what happened during that last race. I don't know how things are going to stand. We'll let it sort out a little bit. Meanwhile, the Miss Elam is being pulled in. You can see the damage to the tail on that boat. The other boat involved was Jerry Hopp's. Let's go down and find out what happened.
Jerry, we see all those rooster tails in the turn, and suddenly you and Ken are spinning around, and you got some damage on the front. What happened?
Well, I went into that turn and
took a couple of bounces, got into some spray. I was trying to get around a corner, and I didn't know what happened. The windshield got covered with a blast of water, and next thing I knew, I was going around in a circle. I didn't know there was any damage to the boat until I actually got out, and a patrol boat guy asked me if I was sinking. I didn't know why, so something happened out there. I got pushed around in a circle.
There you can see the damage that was caused by the other boats or the water or what have you. They're going to have to fix that. Meanwhile, the officials are in deep discussion. Let's go down to one of the guys on the inside, Scott Pierce.
Scotty, having won here in 91, you know these waters. This has to be rougher than anything you've seen.
It's the roughest we've had this year, Jim, by far, and it's, you know, it's a pretty dangerous situation right now.
Wind's coming down that front chute, reacts to the boat violently.
Yeah, in the first heat, we were way, way, way loose. The boat, every time I stand on throttle, stand on tail, we put the air brakes back on and the boat laid down, but unfortunately it slows it down when we do that. You know, everyone's going to have to be real careful. Everyone's riding real high, and discretion's the better part of valor today, I think.
Let's go to Steve Montgomery, who's got an update.
Dick, we have just received a word down here in the pits. The heat we just saw is going to be rerun. And one guy who's glad to hear that is Mark Evans. Didn't get such a fair shake.
No, really didn't. The KSW Rock boat was really running, and we were really wanting to go after the Budweiser. And when I got radioed in that there was a red flare, it always scares me, you know, when my pal's getting hurt or something. But there was an accident, and so I got right off the throttle along with the Budweiser. He slowed right down, too. So just a few seconds after that, they said get back on it. Well, I'd lost a position by then, so it was an unfair deal, and I'm happy we get to rerun it.
Well, he's happy, but I can tell you what, Chip Hanauer is not happy. He says, hey, I had to come out of the 6th spot to go up and win that race. Now you're putting me back into 6th to go again. Here's the owner of the Miss Elam looking at the damage. They've withdrawn that boat. We'll be back in a moment. Was put back into 3rd place, and DeWalt's Tools actually took 2nd, and now you can see that as a battle that is shaped up on the course. First is the Miss Budweiser, now it is the Miss Rock battling DeWalt's Tools on the outside to try to catch 2nd place. Let's see how that one shapes up as we go through the rest of the heat.
All right, as we look at our Zodiac lap time for lap number 1 for the Miss Budweiser at 1:38.
There's Scott Pierce going dead in the water. He's had engine problems on that boat, and he is now going down in the water. He'll try to get it restarted. There you see 1, 2, 3 as it stands. It is Miss Budweiser in 1st place. Miss Rock has moved up into 2nd place. 3rd place is DeWalt's Tools. There's Mark Evans in the Miss Rock. He's got to feel a little bit better now. He has gotten himself a 2nd place, which is where he was when that controversial flare went off in the 1st running of this heat.
What a miserable day for racing as they come down to complete lap number 2, and the time for the Budweiser, 1:45. So he's picked it up about 7 miles an hour on lap 2.
Well, actually, the Miss Rock, who's now gone to the inside lane, has challenged the Miss Budweiser in other races. So I don't think Chip Hanauer wants to fool around at all. I think he wants to make sure he gets 1st place. He did it before. He just wants to say, hey, it was no fluke. We'll do it again if we have to.
Right now, we can barely see the floating bridge down in corners number 3 and 4 of this course here on Lake Washington. And if it gets any worse, I don't know. The checkered flag is out. Looks like Chip is going to get his wish. He's going to have to do it all over again, and he's on his way to winning Heat 2B from the 6th outside lane.
And as you can see there, Scotty Pierce got restarted again. There's the checkered flag for the Miss Budweiser. The suspenders kind of flopping off to the side there, whatever they are. 2nd place is going to go to Mark Evans.
And 3rd place overall, as you look at the Fruit of the Loom scoreboard, is DeWalt Tools, followed by the Cascade Homes, and Scott Pierce did restart in the Bellevue Volkswagen. Let's go to the docks.
Well, at least this time they're going to give you the 400 points. Maybe it should be 800, huh?
Yeah, I feel pretty bitter. You know, they made a mistake and said, so for them to get themselves out of the trouble, instead of accepting the mistake and going on, they made me go out and risk it, everything again, my equipment, myself, drive hard from lane 6. And I'm pretty bitter. I'm pretty upset. I don't think it was fair.
But we've got the rest of the day to deal with, so we'll go on from here.
Yep, it's over.
Well, now we'll see if Bernie Little, who's trailing Chip Hanauer off the dock, can actually get his 100th career win later today. We'll be back in a moment. The weather for, well, you get the idea, don't you? Seafair in Seattle. Lake Washington is shrouded in fog at the moment. The unlimited hydroplanes racing for the Texaco Cup. Fog or not, the boats are going out for Heat 3A. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we look at the Smokin' Joes taking to the course. Now, you know, when you come down to an unlimited hydroplane race, you look in the pit area, you see all these huge semi-tractor trailer trucks. Chip Hanauer took us for a tour of the trucks. And that's what today's Eagle Snacks Performance Corner is all about. Chip?
Behind every unlimited hydroplane team, or should I say in front of every unlimited hydroplane team, is literally a shop on wheels, a truck that serves as a shop, a home, an apartment, basically where we live while we're on the road for 10 weeks at a time. We here at the Budweiser team are very lucky because we have a pair of trucks supplied by Mack Trucks that we think are some of the best in the business. Come on in, I'll show you. Here inside the trucks are everything we need to keep the boat going. We have spare engines that all have a place of their own. We have bits and pieces, parts, nuts and bolts, washers, tools, electronic equipment, radios, everything we need to keep the Miss Budweiser going heat after heat, month after month, all summer long. Here in the technical center is where the data that's accumulated in the boat by computers is analyzed, looked at, and gives us the information to make the changes we need for the next run to keep the Miss Budweiser out in front. Here in the other truck, we carry mostly materials we use to fix the boat if it's damaged. We have spare wings, materials, fiberglass, aluminum, even uniforms for the crew and myself. And this is my area. This is an area where I can just kind of be quiet, conduct business, interviews, basically get mentally prepared to do my job out on the race course. In fact, I've got to go do that right now.
He certainly does, because Heat 3A has a very special feature. The two fastest qualifiers are head-to-head for the first time, Jim.
Smokin' Joe's is in lane 1 with Mark Tate. He has a 339-point high point lead over the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer is in the second slot. It's Miss Rock with Mark Evans, Nate Brown in the Pizza Time Exide Nautilus batteries, Ken Muscatel in computers and applications. Appian Renegade is driven by Tom Hinley.
In the lead, it is Smokin' Joe's, driven by Mark Tate. On the outside is the Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer. But Mark Tate has the lead, and for the first time today, these two boats, this Miss Budweiser and Smokin' Joe's, have been matched side by side. Coming through the fog, one of the problems that some of the drivers are having is not the fog outside as much as the fog inside the cockpits. So we have to be very attuned to the fact that some of the drivers may have a sight problem.
It has rained all day long here in Seattle, sometimes heavier than others, but nonetheless, raindrops keep falling on these boats constantly.
Now, as you look down from the helicopter in the center, you see Miss Budweiser now over in lane number 1. And it looks like he's going through the rooster. Oh, does he even see Mark Evans? He just barely missed Mark Evans, who was on the outside in lane number 4. Budweiser has now crossed to the outside and is lane number 2 on the outside of Smokin' Joe's.
Zodiac lap speed for the Smokin' Joe's 142 mile an hour.
Boy, they are really battling out here. Rough water, bad conditions for seeing each other, and the battle goes on. Miss Budweiser tried to get by, but was unable to change lanes effectively to pick up speed on the Smokin' Joe's, so Chip Hanauer is settling back in second place. The lead boat, Smokin' Joe's, Mark Tate. Now remember, last week in Pasco, Mark beat the Miss Budweiser every time when they went head-to-head on the water. And here he does it again today. The checkered flag out for him. Second place goes to this boat, the Miss Budweiser, Chip Hanauer. And here's your Fruit of the Loom scoreboard.
Smokin' Joe's, followed by Miss Budweiser, Miss Rock, the Pizza Time Exide, computers and applications, and the Appian Renegade.
Mark Tate being welcomed back to the Smokin' Joe's pit. Steve Woomer very, very happy about things. If you'd like to join the URC Winner's Circle, you get a patch, poster, official media guide, and if you call the number on your screen, a limited edition unlimited t-shirt. And as a special bonus, you'll get absolutely free Diamond P Sports Video Thunderbolts. Make that call now.
Mark, when the referee hollered go, it looked like Chip didn't. Did you see him fading in your mirrors?
Yeah, it was a little, you know, we both seemed to get on it at the same time, but then I just seemed to pull him real good going to the first turn. I really don't know what happened to him.
You're one victory away now from the big one, and that'd be the first one for the boss here. Be nice to get it even in this rain, huh?
Well, it would be a nice win, and, you know, we'll take what comes to us, and, you know, we're here to win a boat race, but yet we got to stay focused on our championship and not make any mistakes there in the final and lose valuable points.
And kind of interesting, Mark Tate, one of the few drivers not from Seattle today. We'll be back with more racing on Lake Washington. A little drizzle still falling in Seattle, but the fog has lifted, and Fred Leland, owner of the Pico American Dream, can look out and see his boat as it comes around to start Heat 3B.
And it's in lane number 1, and right next to him is DeWalt Tools lane 2, the T Plus in lane 3, Cascade Homes in 4, Mill Bay Casinos in 5, and on the outside, the Bellevue Volkswagen.
So the boats coming down take the green flag. They go into turn number 1. Pico's American Dream is your lead boat. Gets a good ride right against the buoy line. The tighter they can make it, the better they like it. They hold their speed, and here comes T+. Stephen David out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, has moved up on the outside and has taken the lead. DeWalt Tools back in 3rd place.
As we look at the fog that's starting to lift, we see the boats are really running very, very roughly. Look how far out that the T Plus had to go to keep pace with the inside boat on the right, which is Pico's American Dream. They are getting some real rough water here.
Pico's American Dream is holding very tight on that buoy line, trying to keep that course to a minimum. He wants the least amount of distance he possibly has to run. Meanwhile, the tail section on the T Plus has loosened up. It has not quite flown off the end of the boat yet, but there are struts flying, and we expect that that will not make it through the entire race. Usually they start breaking apart because of the water pressure.
A lot of times you're right, it is the water. They're not hitting any other boat, they're just going in there. The waves are slapping so hard on these tails that they are knocking them loose from their mounts.
We're going to watch very closely to see if indeed the tail stays on the T+. Meanwhile, a little bit of rough water for Pico's American Dream, but still again, Dave Villwock holding very tight. The battle for 3rd has DeWalt's, the yellow boat. On the outside of him, there you see Scott Pierce in the Chaplin's Bellevue Volkswagen boat, and here's your leader, still flying high, keeping everything under control, though. I think he's going to count it a very good ride. As a matter of fact, it'll be excellent if he wins it. I know he'll rate it among the top. There you see the battle for 3rd, and as it stands right now, the boat from Madison, Indiana, DeWalt's Tools, has taken 3rd place, dropping Scott Pierce back to 4th. There's the tail on the T+. They are still holding 2nd place in position, and the tail is still holding on. The tail in unlimited hydroplane racing is to keep the back end of the boat up. In car racing, it keeps the back end of the car down. There's your winner coming across for the checkered flag, and the tail has gone off the horizontal stabilizer from the T+. The race is over. It matters little. He takes 2nd place. This is your winner, Pico's American Dream. Steve David wasting no time. He's going to get that boat back in there. He's qualified for the final. He wants to look at the championship heat.
And the Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows Pico's wins, T Plus engine treatment 2nd, DeWalt Tools 3rd, and the rest of the fleet.
Now we turn our attention to the unlimited lights. Look at lane number 6. Howie Labrie driving Hey Baby comes over and smacks into Brian Reynolds in the Flying Hawaiian. Look in the replay here. This is pretty amazing. They hit together. You can already see the damage to the Flying Hawaiian. Brian Reynolds, I don't know how he did it. He went on to win the race, but look at that boat. Here's the way the results are in the competition Cam's Unlimited Lights Series. Good competition. They're going around with the Unlimiteds all around the country, and they are doing great. Here's another guy who's doing great. The Pico American Dream driver, Dave Villwock, as they get their boat ready for the championship heat in the Texaco Cup here in Seattle, Washington. Some of the other teams working on skid fins and making sure everything's intact and ready to go for the final heat. And that will be coming up next as we continue with ESPN Speed World in just a moment. In Seattle, Washington, but that doesn't stop the fans here. They're waiting for the championship run for the Texaco Cup here on Lake Washington. The boats are out on the course, and we're getting ready to race.
And by virtue of 2 first and a 2nd in preliminary heat action, the Miss Budweiser Chip Hanauer selected lane number 1. Mark Tate has 2 wins and a 3rd place finish. He'll take lane 2. Dave Villwock will take lane 3, and he is the defending champion for this event. Meanwhile, in lane number 4, it'll be Nate Brown in the Pizza Time XI battery. He's had a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd here today. Mark Evans will be in lane number 5 with his Miss Rock, while Steve David in the T Plus will be in the 6th slot. And the trailer position will be Mike Hansen and DeWalt Tools by winning the provisional heat just prior to this finale.
There's Steve Woomer, who owns Smokin' Joe's, and he's looking for his 1st win on this lake. Bernie Little's looking for his 100th career.
Bernie, it's been a wacky day, but this could be it.
Well, it sure could. We're looking for that 100th victory, and this is going to be it.
I guess he's got those fingers crossed. As we look at the boats coming down now, green flag is out, and there they go. The a battle right off on the inside as Pico's American Dream tries to lead the pack down into the first turn. Nobody is separating out distinctively from the field. Pico's leads the boat into the first turn, but looking on the inside of him, Smokin' Joe's takes a sharp turn. Meanwhile, the Miss Budweiser in lane number 1 looks like he is going to take it on the back stretch.
It looks as though Smokin' Joe's is getting a lot of water off the stern of the Budweiser and the Picos as we look at our leader. This is a 5-lapper now. This is the finale, 5 times around.
Smokin' Joe's is now looking like she's got some engine problems, but no engine problem at all for the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer out in the lead. The defending champ of this race, the Pico's American Dream, now on the outside in second place. That's Dave Villwock. There's DeWalt's Tools going by a swamped Smokin' Joe's. Mark Tate is trying to get that engine to fire up again. I don't know whether he'll be able to or not. Right now, he is out of the race, sitting on the course. Still in second place, in the midst of that rooster tail, is the Pico's American Dream. The rooster tail belongs to Chip Hanauer's Miss Budweiser.
And the Smokin' Joe's has restarted and is back up on plane, but quite a ways back right now. That'll make it interesting in the final point tally as we come around to complete lap number 2 at a speed of over 143 miles an hour.
There's Bernie Little trying to signal out to Chip Hanauer to keep that boat down on the water as we look at some of the other boats in the field. There you can... Whoa! Smokin' Joe's got going again and immediately launched off a wave, came back down. Look at the T+. They've got the wing back onto that boat, but I'll tell you, it may be challenged again because they are really hitting some rough water.
Not only foggy, not only rainy, but the wind is starting to kick up now, and the water is being churned up by 7 of the fastest race boats in the world.
Pizza Time X-Side being driven by Nate Brown, who returned to the Unlimited Racing Wars just a week ago in Pasco, Washington. He's holding on to 4th spot as we look at our field now. There's your defending champ, and he's going dead in the water. Pico's American Dream, the defending champ, Dave Villwock, has gone dead in the water. He was riding in second place. Boy, look at Smokin' Joe's coming on now. He's trying to catch, and he just passed DeWalt's Tools, but his aim is the Miss Budweiser. She's out in front.
Miss Budweiser is in first right now. Pizza Time X-Side Batteries is second, and the Miss Rock is third, as the Smokin' Joe did pass the DeWalt Tools out of that turn number 2.
Smokin' Joe's is really smoking now, but will he be able to catch the Miss Budweiser in time for that checkered flag? Look at, as Miss Budweiser apparently has gotten the word, Chip Hanauer powered on, jumped out of the water. There you saw momentarily Nate Brown, who is in the X-Side Pizza Time boat, and he's doing a great job. There's Mark Evans. He's got a good ride in the Miss Rock, and it's rocking back and forth at the moment, but the real focus is going to be up front on the Miss Budweiser to see if this boat, Smokin' Joe's, can make it a good race by the time the checkered flag comes out. He's got a ways to go.
As we look for the battle in second and third, our leader is coming around off the exit pin. The checkered flag is waiting, and Dick Crippen, Bernie Little is going to get his 100th career win.
He certainly is, and this will make Chip Hanauer very happy too. And there you can see Bernie Little. He's waving that umbrella out there to let Chip know. There you saw your second place boat. Pizza Time coming across. The Budweiser dock is ready to go. They want to celebrate, get Chip Hanauer in. Disappointment for the defending champ in this year's race, Dave Villwock.
Hey, you and me are going in.
Hey, congratulations. Number 100 comes on one of the strangest days we've ever had here.
Oh, I'm out of wind. This is unreal. I can't believe it. Chip drove a great race. It was very rough out there, wasn't it?
It was, but it's number 100.
Yeah, no, it is. And whatever it took to do it, I think we won a couple extra heats, but that's okay.
Let's go see the driver.
All right.
Here are the final standings of the Seattle Seafair race. The Fruit of the Loom scoreboard shows the Miss Budweiser winning second place, and a creditable finish for the Pizza Time X-Side Nautilus batteries, and the Miss Rock was third. Let's go to the winner.
Chip, nobody's going to ever claim that Bernie's 100th came easy.
No, this was a tough, miserable day, and, you know, we had to run 6 miles longer than everybody else. Everybody else had a race that was 6 miles shorter than us, and it's just a credit to these guys. Friday night when we left the pits, this thing was not very good. It wasn't very good at all, and today it was the best thing here. I think the best boat won, and because the best guys gave me the best piece of equipment, and I'm forever indebted to them, and I'm so happy I wasn't here for Bernie's first, but at least I can say I was here for his 100th, and I'm just really proud of him, and I hope everybody realizes it's not just winning, but it's sticking to something, it's believing in something and committing to something, and he's proven he can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm committed. I'm committed to Chip.
Coming from a 514-point deficit, the Miss Budweiser has pulled within 156 points of the Smokin' Joes in the race for the Eagle Snacks O'Doul's High Point Championship, with 2 more events to go.
Well, Woomer and Tate come away with 1 trophy here today as URC Commissioner Bill Donor awards the KeyBank Northwest Series 1st, 2nd, and 3rd go to Smokin' Joe, Pico, and Budweiser, respectively. The Hooters Unlimited Hydroplane Series is sanctioned by the American Powerboat Association and is a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.